Gibbo presents.
It's Gibbo, and right now I'm joined by the co-promoters of this year's War in the East Sound Clash. Firstly, soundman, store owner, and long-time promoter of the event, representing the Dutch champion sound Herbalize It is Sultan.
Gibbo, it's good.
And to his left, soundman, Berlin resident and promoter, representing the reigning Kings of Europe Supersonic, it is Spider.
Greetings again, Gibbo.
Sultan, War in the East 2014, the 10-year anniversary edition, is fast approaching. When you held the first ever War in the East back on the 5th of March 2004 between Cool Rock, Uhuru, D-Fire and Fatal, did you ever think that the event would grow into the spectacle that it has become today?
Never. Like, the War in the East was more likely to be like a local clash for Dutch people and some German people across the border, because Enschede is on the border with Germany. So, for me it was like, put something there, because in Holland there was one clash at a time called the Dutch Cup Clash, and that was just, the clash was just whack, the promotion, everything. So we thought we could do it better. That's how it started. We never had the intention to doing it big like it's now.
And do you know what Cool Rock is up to these days?
Didn't hear from them probably like 10 years or something. I think they parked up.
Spider, do you have a favourite War in the East moment or memory?
Well, yeah, you can say so. I mean, favorite. I mean, of course, the Mighty Crown Clash was with all the fuss and the fighting and the controversy. It was, and how it all ended up, and but I mean, I had some also like the first one we appeared was with the rematch with Soundquake. That was when it was in the other venue, not an Attack. It was, what was the name?
It was also an Attack, but the old Attack. The old venue.
Yeah, it was smaller and that was really great. I mean, I only have good memories of when it comes to War in the East. And what I actually really like about War in the East is War in the East, since it's in Enschede, which is a small place, you really only have clash tourists. Like, you have a competent clash crowd there. So that's what I really appreciate and like about War in the East, that you don't have, it's just like people who think, it's a big event, there's a party going on, and this is what I like about War in the East, that you have all the clash hooligans from all over Europe traveling to see the clash, so it's quite a competent, massive.
Clash tourists, I like that phrase. I think that's one I'm going to have to use in the future.
Yeah, man.
Sultan, I'm going to ask you this question first, then Spider, I want to know what you think too. What are the keys to War in the East's success? Why has it managed to turn into one of the Sound Clash world's most anticipated events? Why do people come from all over Europe and some from even further afield each year to witness the clash in person?
Wow. It's a big one. I think you should have asked the Massive that question, because I really don't know. It's like, probably like Spider just told you, only clash tourists go into the War in the East and say from all over Europe. You got people from Budapest, from Hungary, from Spain, Portugal, Italy, France, everybody traveling, and it makes it a real sound clash event. People meeting each other once a year at like Spider just said, clash tourists, and the reason why it's so big and so, I don't know. I really don't know.
I think also what you can't forget, I mean, let me just get into it a little deeper, because I know how it is. Sultan actually never made this clash to make money, or he actually never make any profit on the clash.
Sure.
So this is like a clash, or this event is not to make money. So he was able to do like lineups and interesting lineups or controversial lineups where people say, wow, I have to witness that and I have to see that, you know what I mean? And without making any money, you don't have the pressure to make money. And so it was like, I think that's also like when you know you're doing this for the love of it, you don't have to make money, and you're able to call sounds from all over the world and fly them in, pay them their fee, and yeah, and I mean the only actually clash which was closer was the Rhythm Clash, which was, I think the first one was 2003 or 2003, and you know, but they just stopped after a while because. And they were filling like venues with 1,500, 2,000 people. But there also you had like half of the crowd wasn't really...
Party crowd.
Yeah, it was. They didn't really came because of the clash, but they just came because of the happening, or there was something big going on. And so when the numbers went down for Rhythm Clash, it was like, yeah, Sultan just continues doing what he had to do. And he's also always promoting it very good. And so I think and you always have big lineups. I mean, very interested lineups. Some people might say, oh, it's not the Kilimanjaro, the Bass Odyssey, the Black Cat. And I mean, the same sounds what another promoter always use. You know, so, but I think it's, yeah, the people love it. I mean, there's always have been good lineups.
Sultan, I think a lot of people underestimate the time and effort that goes into putting on a clash of this scale. How far in advance of a staging of War in the East do you start planning for it?
Mostly a month after the clash. So let's say nearly a year. Because of, you know, we just thinking and putting some names in a pot, you know, and then one goes out, one comes in, and mostly around October, September, October, I got the lineup. This year was a little bit later because we had to deal with 5 sounds instead of 2 or 3, which is normally the regular lineup of a War in the East. But yeah, like mostly like 11 months before the clash.
This year, you're parting with tradition and moving the clash out of Enschede, its home and your Sultan, and relocating it in the German capital, Berlin, your hometown, Spider. Mm-hmm. Whose idea was it to move the clash?
It was my idea to move it.
And it was my idea to move it to Berlin.
Exactly.
No, I mean, as he even said that, like, I mean, even last year already, he was thinking about moving it.
Yeah.
And yeah, and since it always held over the Easter weekend.
True.
It's and especially like this year, it's like 5 sounds from all over the world. So the lineup is kind of more hard, or financially it's a bigger risk, and therefore we was thinking, all right, let's do a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Let's do the Saturday the clash. Friday we do a juggling dance, and Sunday we do something else. So we can have actually. If the Saturday doesn't work, if we don't get our numbers to break even the event, on Saturday we also have the Friday and the Sunday to make back some money, and that we don't lose a lot of money, you know. So, and
well, the main reason is still Berlin is very accessible for everybody.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
You know, it's like a big city. It's like one of the big cities of Europe. So it's like, you know, very accessible for everybody. You got, if you come in for a clash, like we said, there are going to be a lot of clash tourists. People got something else to do too. Enschede is a very small town. You know, if you walk once in the city center, you saw it already. So
Berlin have like 8 airports. No, I'm kidding. I mean, we have 2 airports, international airports. You have a lot of from all over Europe. You can fly to Berlin very cheap. which was Enschede is very hard to get. I mean, you have to fly to Amsterdam, take a train or whatever. And I don't know how many hotels you have in Enschede, but it's like a handful. And Berlin is also very cheap. I mean, like hotels, food, and you can do a lot of things in Berlin all over the weekend. And
EasyJet connection, very important.
yeah, Ryanair, EasyJet. I mean, every airline almost flying to Berlin.
No, but the cheap airlines makes it very accessible for the people to come. So that's
Yep.
why Berlin is one of, it's a big reason to move it over there.
Obviously, as you've just outlined, there are advantages to holding the Clash in Berlin, but when a lot of people think Warner East, they think Enschede. Were you in any way reluctant to move it out of its home for the past 9 years?
Come again? If I what?
Were you in any way reluctant to move it out of Enschede?
Well, it was not really a must for me, but yeah, well, what can I say? It's not hard for me, but still, Enschede is my hometown, so yeah, I can't answer this one.
The Clash is going to be taking place in Yam. Spider, I know Supersonic hold regular nights there, so can you tell me some more about the venue? It's not just a club, is it?
Well, actually, the Yam is going to move. The Yam is fighting since years now. It's like a wicked place where they have like a big outdoor beach area with like beach soccer, beach volleyball. They have a half pipe, a basketball court. They have some food stands selling like African, Jamaican food. It's really like a huge compound. But the venue itself, like the dance hall itself, the club is like only like 500 people could go in there for the max. But the Yam is moving now. In the next 2-3 months, they're moving to a bigger venue called, which used to be the Maria, and which is like 100 meters away, and it can hold like maybe like 800 to 1,000 people. Like it have 2 different floors, so it's quite a bigger venue. I mean, we would have problem, I guess, to keep it in the old Yam because One East had numbers like all up to 700-800 people. So in Enschede, so if we really get like 500-600 Clash tourists coming to Berlin, plus the Berlin Massive, then the old Yam would be too small. So it's I'm excited. The Yam is still where it is right now, but they're gonna move. So I can't really, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be different, but yeah, you have a versatile crowd too.
So you're expecting to fill the new venue, no problem?
Yeah, I think with the lineup and with the promotion, and if the Clash tourists, to use that phrase again, if they're coming out, I'm quite positive that we're gonna fill it up.
Definitely.
Who decided on the lineup for this year's Warner Easts? Sultan, was it you and Herbalize It, or was it a joint decision between Herbalize It and Superlock?
Definitely. Everything we do, we decided together. Like I said, we started like, it took me 2 or 3 months after the Clash, after last year's Clash to see in which town I'm gonna hold it. When I decided it was Berlin, then I started to talk with Spider and Tommy, of course, from City Lock crew. Tommy and Spider together at Superlock, and we just started putting names on, and once a week, once go off, then another come in, and that's how we do it. Everything together.
So what factors do you take into account when you're deciding the lineup?
We need sounds that bust right now.
Plus, we was thinking to actually do really something
World Clash.
Yeah, like a real thing. I mean, like sounds from all over the world.
Exactly. That's
from all over. Only sound was even thinking about getting a sound from Africa, but it didn't work. So, but we wanted to have like a world format that really, from each corner of the earth, we have somebody who represents and
their continents.
Yeah, and I think each sound. The only thing is like we don't have a sound from Jamaica there right now, which is like a pity, but would I be like, it wasn't easy to make a decision. But as you know, I've been to Trinidad last summer and I saw a lot of ambitious sounds, and there are some good sounds over there as well. And then Japan is fully loaded. I mean, with sounds. England as well. I mean, you only hear the same 2-3 sounds from England calling up, but they never really get to present themselves on a international stage or on a stage where everybody's looking at. And that's the nice thing about War in the East, that it's everybody in the world is gonna or know what is going on or follows War in the East. So that was the idea, to do something like a world or clash format.
Global,
yeah.
Was there much disagreement between the two of you with regards to which sounds should be included?
Not really. But yeah, of course, we had our own choices, and then we just start to figure out what's the best deal.
Yeah,
simple.
Pros and contras, and yeah. Well, it wasn't no big set of argument.
Was another one of your main goals to make the clash as competitive as possible and to match the sounds as evenly as you could?
Definitely. That's always a must. I would never put like no disrespect, but I would never put a big sound against a small sound. I have to be a little bit equal.
So you'd rather have a very competitive and evenly matched clash that wasn't full and didn't receive as much publicity, as opposed to one that attracted a lot of attention and featured big name sounds but was pretty one-sided?
Well, yeah, it was like I said. I mean, we know all the sounds, and we know all the sounds they're capable of doing a good show. They have a nice dub plate box. They have a good MC, or they be able to give a good fight. And
all the sounds, which is very important. All the sounds won mostly every clash recently.
Yeah,
which we picked.
Burn Down just beat the big clash in Japan. They beat Yard Beat.
Warrior beat Supersonic.
Warrior won against us in Stuttgart. Natural Affair did some clashes in UK where they won.
Good performance in US.
Zygon just beat everything in Trinidad. And Cosmic is the reigning champion. So in the end of the day, they all... but they never really, besides Cosmic, they never really get like a big platform like the War in the East, like a bigger clash like that. So we say, all right, let's put them on the spot, let them shine and show the whole world, not just in their region, not only in Japan or only in Germany or in Trinidad or in New York, or in the UK, let them have a stage where the whole world is looking at.
Just to clarify, my last comment there, I wasn't saying that the sounds on the bill are not big name sounds. I was just trying to gauge your priorities when deciding the lineup, whether a clash being as competitive as possible was one of your main aims. Was this your first choice lineup, or did any sounds decline your invitation?
There were some sounds that refused the clash, exactly, yeah.
Can you say which sounds they were and why?
No. No.
No, we wouldn't put them on the spot, but they know who they are. I mean, yeah, so some refused it, but that's how it is.
So let's go through the sounds on the lineup in a little more depth than you touched on already. Tell me why you chose each sounds and what they bring to the competition. We'll start with the sound from Japan, Burn Down.
Well, as I told you, I mean, they just won a big clash in Japan. And I've been to Japan like twice, and I see how big Burn Down is in Japan as well. And I mean, they have huge dances. They sell in thousands of mix CDs. They're big in production wise, and they're good people. And they have a huge top plate box. And They've been into the 1, 2, 3 Badadan clash in Switzerland. They did a nice performance as well a couple of years ago against some other sounds, and they lost in tune for tune against Composti. But yeah, and that's why we choose Burn Down from Japan. I mean, Yardbeat, we wanted to have a sound from Japan there.
Exactly.
And we was thinking, all right, but there was also Barrier Free, for example. But yeah,
maybe next year, Barrier Free. Like we had Mighty Crown, Yardbeat this year, Burn Down. We're gonna see who's next year. We always want to involve Japan because, like he said, Japan is huge when it comes to reggae music, and we just can't forget it and skip over it.
As you said, this won't be Burn Down's first clash in Europe. In 2009, they took part in the Badeland clash in Switzerland. But when I talk to Japanese sounds, they always tell me clashing in Japan is very different to clashing elsewhere. So, do you think they'll be able to recreate the success they've had in Japan when they come to Germany?
It's possible. The only thing what I the language barrier is a little bit difficult. But even the Yardbeat MC,
Mitch.
I heard him 2 years ago, and then I heard him last year, and I heard him just recently on an audio, and they improving themselves. So, yeah.
Next up, Warrior Sounds.
Well, we had a list of some European sounds, like War in the East is a clash in Europe, so we have to involve Europe, and yeah, Warrior Sound came out of it, and Warrior Sound did a good job. They had a good year last year in 2013. And, he's doing very well, a one-man sound, so he deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I won't mention who they beat in their last clash, but what role...
problem, Gibbo.
What role do you think the German crowds and the knowledge Mattia has of them or will play in this clash?
He will have a little advantage, but Berlin... especially War in the East sound clash, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Because, people are... I think it's even harder for him, to be honest. Because, Europeans, German people, Dutch people too, given the hometown sound always a
harder fight.
Yeah, a big fight, so...
Yeah, he had to come very strong, I mean, to win that clash.
Then we have Natural Affair, the first UK-based sounds to ever take part in War in the East. Do you not rate many UK sounds?
Of course we do.
Yeah, we do. But, I mean...
Yeah, well, what can I say? This is like well, you should call us for this. This is like a different discussion because UK is... Although the UK is Europe, we don't, when it comes to reggae music and a lot of other things, we don't count it as Europe. It's UK, they are on themselves. They got a scene for 40, 50 years almost, so,
It's very weird, man. I mean, for example, for me, I played more in New York or in Japan.
Caribbean.
In the Caribbean than I played in the UK. And it's not that I don't rate them, but I mean, I think they're on their own scene. I mean, and in the last 10 years, there haven't really been a big impact internationally. I mean, you had 1, 2 sounds who was doing good, but then you never really hear nothing from them again. And so I think it's like you all have your own thing in the UK, and it just stays in the UK, and that's so. Think it's a good chance actually for the whole of UK that Natural Affairs come into to the War in the East and present the UK.
I don't think this is only for the War in the East. Check all other clashes in the world. You don't see that much UK sounds in Canada or the Caribbean or in the States clashing or even having just juggling dances. You don't see that.
I do agree, even though we're very close or pretty close in terms of geographic distance, there is quite a separation between the UK scene and the European scene. So,
which is weird. I mean, it's right there. You know what I mean? It's like an hour and a half or 2 hours flight. So, which is it's
30
right.
minutes from Amsterdam.
It's right there. So it's weird.
was it Natural Affairs' willingness to travel and clash outside of the UK and their comfort zone, which was demonstrated by their recent performance in New York, that led to their inclusion in the clash?
Also, not only because, Natural Affairs just left a good impression the last couple of years. Very good. And I can't recall another UK sound that, really being in the picture the last few years.
Then we have the reigning and defending War in the East champions. Hailing from Brooklyn, New York, Cosmic Movements. How impressed were you by Cosmic's victory last year?
Very, very impressed.
Would you put it down as one of the standout moments in War in the East history?
Yeah, definitely. We, I had every clash is, I got something special about it. But that clash was, they just, from the first tune they started to play in the first round, I was like, okay, I saw it coming from first round, no lie. The connection, the interaction, the MC had with the crowd, very chill, very cool down, smiling, things European clash fans appreciate.
Since last year's victory, they've been back to Europe on tour and they've played some high-profile juggling dates, but they haven't been involved in another clash. Are you surprised they haven't clashed again since their victory in Enschede?
Not really. Probably they're just more choosy.
Yeah, I think they're more picking the format or the opponents. I don't know. I honestly expected them to be more present on the battlefield, to be honest. I thought we were going to see them on more clashes since last year War in the East. That we didn't see them at all. It surprised me that there no clash in New York, or I was surprised. Yeah. I expected them to take part of more clashes, but maybe they just choose and just build a box. They had like 12 months to fill up the box again and to reload it and get some more surprises and come back strong.
And last but not least, we have Zygon International from Trinidad and Tobago. Would you class them as the underdogs and the unknown quantity in this clash?
Yeah, in a way, I would say so. Yeah, because actually, most of the people never really hear about them. But when you check, you could find it on YouTube, and if you know about the clash scene and you're really interested, you go find some audios. And as I said, they actually, Trinidad have a big. They have a lot of sound systems in Trinidad as well, and with also good amount of dub plates. And yeah, I think they're kind of the underdog, so to speak. But they're definitely capable to do a great show and to reach far.
They've been active in the Clash Arena since 2002 and have a pretty good win-loss record, as you mentioned earlier, Spider. But they've only clashed outside of the Caribbean once, and they'll be taking a step up in competition when they come to Berlin. Are they ready for the big stage and their first clash in Europe?
Yeah, definitely. They will be ready. I'm definitely sure they will be ready.
Cosmic never clashed outside New York before they came to War in the East. So that doesn't say anything.
Yep.
Sultan, how frustrating is it for you as a sound man to put on War in the East each year but never getting to take part in it? I know it's a conflict of interests promoting and taking part in a clash, but there must have been a time.
I told him to be part of it. I told him, hey, Sultan, why we don't put Herbalize It in this year?
True. Yeah, that's true. We even discussed it because there was one or two Europeans who, like you asked me before, they declined, they refused to clash. So I was really thinking about to step in with my sound, but still, it's like you said, it's frustrating because it's one of the biggest clashes in Europe. I've been in a rhythm clash, so I did all the big clashes in Europe. I did them, and except the War in the East. But yeah, I want to keep that apart. You know, I want to keep, you know, I want to be busy with the promotion and, you know, putting up on a good show for the people. And that's my first priority, and not, you know, thinking about which tunes I have to cut, and, you know, all these kind of things will come when you're accepting a clash.
I would guess clashing.
Yeah.
I would guess clashing and playing music is your main love, but do you like promoting as well? Is that something that you enjoy doing?
Sometimes. The War in the East, definitely a yes. You know, we're doing it with the whole team. You know, it's you guys seeing us right now, but it's, you know, it's the whole Herbalize It, Steph, D1, the whole team. We got Tommy there from the Superlock crew. So it's you know, the War in the East is nice to do, especially to create a lineup. That's the wickedest thing.
As you will both be well aware of, the UK Cup Clash is making its return this year, and it's going to be taking place on the same night as War in the East's. What were your thoughts when you found out that both clashes were scheduled for Easter Saturday?
Well, what can I say? You know,
Talk your mind, Rasta.
What can I say? I was just like, you know, I wasn't surprised though, because, you know, I expected it a little bit, but I was like, okay, so it be. It's a shame though. You got two big clashes in Europe, and, you know, then you put it on the same date. You know, you got a lot of European fans, and I'm talking about the continent, Europe, who were ready to move and go to London to see a UK Cup clash, but I guess they don't go if there's a clash in Berlin. And probably they also vice versa, you know, people from the UK who want to see the War in the East. But yeah, so it goes. It was not, you know, I think
I mean, War in the East always have been on the Easter weekend, right?
Mostly, not always, but yeah.
Yeah.
He knew it because the lineup was already out before the UK Cup clash. So,
what was your reaction, Spider?
Talk your mind, Rasta.
Now, I think it will not really hurt us. It could have been better, maybe, if it wouldn't be the case. I was not happy about it, but I mean, that's how it is. I don't know if there was some bad mind intention behind it, but that's how it is, I guess.
But honestly, it's not going to hurt us.
No.
It's not going to hurt the War in the East. I think, you know, the Europeans were ready to travel to London, but honestly, Gibbo, probably a handful from the UK came to the War in the War in the East, which we held like before. So we never had like hundreds of people from the UK coming. Maybe like 5 or 10 people, you know, really hardcore Clash fans. But I think
this year would have been more, definitely, because of Natural Affair. I don't know, but I guess they have a little follower, and we received a lot of like emails and stuff from people from the UK saying, "Wow, I definitely gonna come over." And then some say, "Oh shit, now UK Cup clashes," and so yeah, I don't know.
He couldn't say I didn't know about it, because War in the East is like the biggest clash in Europe. So
I would certainly agree that it's a real shame that both events are going to be taking place on the same night. I don't think it benefits anybody, whether that be promoters, fans, or the sounds involved. Did you consider moving War in the East at all, or was that just not an option?
No, never.
No.
In my opinion, one of last year's most entertaining and closely contested clashes was the King of Europe clash, which took place in the Austrian capital, Vienna, and of course featured you two and your respective sounds. What are the chances that we see you two go head-to-head again in 2014?
Like 100%.
100%.
Does that mean we have something confirmed already?
Yeah.
Would you
But not like you think. But you see, like how you see us sitting here, you're gonna you're gonna see us fighting.
Just watch Facebook, social media, Twitter, anything. You know, you're gonna see it in the next few weeks.
Does that mean that we may see you as a tag team?
I don't know, bro. Gibbo, we can't give you that. You know,
Sultan and me on stage is always a fight.
It's confirmed, but you know, because we have respect for the promoter, I let the promoter say it when, you know, and how and everything.
Well, it's not gonna be how you expect. Definitely, it's like a surprise.
Well, as soon as you are able to reveal any more information, make sure you get back in touch with me.
Definitely.
We don't know, man.
We need to put the Gibbo Presents exclusive out there, I think.
Definitely.
Just before we finish, give everyone watching and listening all the information they need about all of the War in the East related events that will be taking place in Berlin over Easter weekends.
Well, first of all, it's 18, 19, and 20 of April.
It's 3 days, a whole weekend. Easter weekend.
All right. 18, we got a juggling dance. 19, we got a clash. On the 20, we got a dancehall queen competition.
A dance competition.
A dance competition. It's going to be a big event, 3 days. If you just want to see one of the events, Berlin is a big city. You have to reach there. Easy accessible. Tell them, Spider, it's your town.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we have 2 airports. All the cheap airlines, they're flying to Berlin. We have 5 million hotels, and but Berlin is Easter weekend. Berlin is definitely a must because I mean we have so many tourists and the city is like really packed, and you have a lot of
things to do.
We have a lot of Berlin have a lot of history, as you know. I mean you could also like sightseeing for 3 weeks non-stop. So if you feel like I'm not going out on Friday night, I'm just coming to do some sightseeing, Berlin is definitely a place to visit. And Berlin is very hype right now. I mean, I think you know that as well. Everybody in Europe love to come to Berlin, and a lot of people from the UK even, they just come and partying over the weekend. They just buying an EasyJet ticket, coming to Berlin and party and have some hotels and even spend less money than what they would have spent in London partying. So Berlin is definitely and it's very easy to reach, and yeah, I mean it's gonna be a crazy weekend. Friday we're gonna turn over the dance with like Herbalize It, City Lock, Supersonic. We have some other sounds gonna juggle as well, and Saturday the big clash, and Sunday is gonna be like a dance competition with a lot of dancers, and so it's gonna be a nice weekend, definitely. Don't miss it.
Can't miss it.
Spider, Sultan, thanks a lot.
You're welcome, bro.
Bang, bang.
Gibbo.